Bible in a Year, the Message Version, January 16 or Day 16, Genesis 32, verse 13 through chapter 34, verse 31. He, Jacob, slept the night there. Then he prepared a present for his brother Esau from his possessions, 200 female goats, 20 male goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 camels with their nursing young, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys, and 10 male donkeys. He put a servant in charge of each herd and said, "Go ahead of me, and keep a healthy space between each herd." Then he instructed the first one out. "When my brother Esau comes close and asks, 'Who is your master? Where are you going? Who owns these?' answer him like this: 'Your servant Jacob. They are a gift to my master Esau. He's on his way.'" He gave the second instructions to the second servant and the third, to each in turn as they set out with their herds. "Say, 'Your servant Jacob is on the way behind us.'" He thought, "I will soften him up with the succession of gifts. Then, when he sees me face to face, maybe he'll be glad to welcome me." So his gifts went before him while he settled down for the night in the camp. But during the night he got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 maidservants, and his 11 children, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. He got them safely across the brook, along with all his possessions. But Jacob stayed behind by himself, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he couldn't get the best of Jacob as they wrestled, he deliberately threw Jacob's hip out of joint. The man said, "Let me go. It's daybreak." Jacob said, "I'm not letting you go till you bless me." The man said, "What's your name?" He answered, "Jacob." The man said, "But no longer. Your name is no longer Jacob. From now on, it's Israel, God wrestler. You've wrestled with God, and you've come through." Jacob asked, "And what's your name?" The man said, "Why do you want to know my name?" And then, right then and there, he blessed him. Jacob named the place Peniel, God's face, because he said, "I saw God face to face and lived to tell the story." The sun came up as he left Peniel, limping because of his hip. This is why Israelites to this day don't eat the hip muscle, because Jacob's hip was thrown out of joint. Jacob looked up and saw Esau coming with his 400 men. He divided the children between Leah and Rachel and the 2 maidservants. He put the maidservants out in front, Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph last. He led the way, and as he approached his brother, bowed 7 times, honoring his brother. But Esau ran up and embraced him, held him tight, and kissed him, and they both wept. Then Esau looked around and saw the women and children. "And who are these with you?" Jacob said, "The children that God saw fit to bless me with." Then the maidservants came up with their children and bowed. Then Leah and her children, also bowing, and finally Joseph and Rachel came up and bowed to Esau. Esau then asked, "And what was the meaning of all those herds that I met?" "I was hoping that they would pave the way for my master to welcome me." Esau said, "Oh, brother, I have plenty of everything. Keep what is yours for yourself." Jacob said, "Please, if you can find it in your heart to welcome me, accept these gifts. When I saw your face, it was as the face of God smiling on me. Accept the gifts I have brought for you. God has been good to me, and I have more than enough." Jacob urged the gifts on him, and Esau accepted. Then Esau said, "Let's start out on our way. I'll take the lead." But Jacob said, "My master can see that the children are tired and frail, and the flocks and herds are nursing, making for slow going. If I push them too hard, even for a day, I'll lose them all. So, master, you go on ahead of your servant, while I take it easy at the pace of my flocks and children. I'll catch up with you in Seir." Esau said, "Let me at least lend you some of my men." "There's no need," said Jacob. "Your generous welcome is all I need or want." So Esau set out that day and made his way back to Seir. And Jacob left for Succoth. He built a shelter for himself and sheds for his livestock. And that's how the place came to be called Succoth, sheds. And that's how it happened that Jacob arrived all in one piece in Shechem, in the land of Canaan, all the way from Paddan Aram. He camped near the city. He bought the land where he pitched his tent from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem. He paid 100 silver coins for it. Then he built an altar there and named it El-Eloah, Israel. Mighty is the God of Israel. One day, Dinah, the daughter of Leah, had given Jacob, went to visit some of the women in that country. Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hittite, who was chieftain there, saw her and raped her. Then he felt a strong attraction to Dinah, Jacob's daughter, fell in love with her and wooed her. Shechem went to his father Hamor. "Get me this girl for my wife." Jacob heard that Shechem had raped his daughter Dinah, but his sons were out in the field with the livestock, so he didn't say anything until they got home. Hamor, Shechem's father, went to Jacob to work out marriage arrangements. Meanwhile, Jacob's sons, on their way back from the fields, heard what had happened. They were outraged, explosive with anger. Shechem's rape of Jacob's daughter was intolerable in Israel and not to be put up with. Hamor spoke with Jacob and his sons. "My son Shechem is head over heels in love with your daughter. Give her to him as his wife. Intermarry with us. Give your daughters to us, and we will give our daughters to you. Live together with us as one family. Settle down among us and make yourselves at home. Prosper among us." Shechem then spoke for himself, addressing Dinah's father and brothers. "Please say yes. I'll pay anything. Set the bridal price as high as you will. The sky's the limit. Only give me this girl for my wife." Jacob's sons answered Shechem and his father with cunning. Their sister, after all, had been raped. They said, "This is impossible. We could never give our sister to a man who was uncircumcised. Why, we'd be disgraced. The only condition on which we can talk business is if all your men become circumcised, like us. Then we will freely exchange daughters in marriage and make ourselves at home among you and become one big, happy family. But if this is not acceptable condition, we will take our sister and leave." That seemed fair enough to Hamor and his son Shechem. The young man was so smitten with Jacob's daughter that he proceeded to do what he had been asked. He was also the most admired son in his father's family. So Hamor and his son Shechem went to the public square and spoke to the town council. "These men like us. They are our friends. Let them settle down here and make themselves at home. There's plenty of room in the country for them. And just think, we can even exchange our daughters in marriage. But these men will only accept our invitation to live with us and become one big family on one condition, that all our males become circumcised, just as they themselves are. This is a very good deal for us. These people are very wealthy with great herds of livestock, and we're going to get our hands on it. So let's do what they ask and have them settle down with us." Everyone who was anyone in the city agreed with Hamor and his son, Shechem. Every male was circumcised. 3 days after the circumcision, while all the men were still very sore, 2 of Jacob's sons Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers. Each, with his sword in hand, walked into the city as if they owned the place and murdered every man there. They also killed Hamor and his son Shechem, rescued Dinah from Shechem's house, and left. When the rest of Jacob's sons came on the scene of slaughter, they looted the entire city in retaliation for Dinah's rape. Flocks, herds, donkeys, belongings, everything, whether in the city or the fields, they took. And then they took all the wives and children captive and ransacked the homes for anything valuable. Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You've made my name repulsive to the people here. These Canaanites and Perizzites, if they decided to gang up on us and attack, as few as we are, we wouldn't stand a chance. They'd wipe me and my people right off the map." They said, "Nobody is going to treat our sister like a whore and get by with it." Matthew chapter 11, verse 7 through verse 30. When John's disciples left to report, Jesus started talking to the crowd about John. "What did you expect when you went out to see him in the wild? A weekend camper? Hardly. What then? A sheik in silk pajamas? Not in the wilderness, not by a long shot. What then? A prophet? That's right, a prophet. Probably the best prophet you'll ever hear. He is the prophet that Melchizedek announced when he wrote, 'I'm sending my prophet ahead of you to make the road smooth for you.' Let me tell you what's going on here. No one in history surpasses John the Baptizer, but in the kingdom he prepared for you, the lowest person is ahead of him. For a long time now, people have tried to force themselves into God's kingdom, but if you read the books of the prophets and God's law closely, you will see them culminate in John, teaming up with him in preparing the way for the Messiah of the kingdom. Look at it in this way. John is the Elijah you've all been expecting to arrive and introduce the Messiah. Are you listening to me? Really listening? How can I account for this generation? The people have been like spoiled children, whining to their parents. "We wanted to skip rope, and you were always too tired. We wanted to talk, but you were always too busy." John came fasting, and they called him crazy. I came feasting, and they called me a boozer, a friend of misfits. Opinion polls don't count for much, do they? The proof of the pudding is in the eating. Next, Jesus unleashed on the cities where he had worked the hardest, but whose people had responded the least, shrugging their shoulders and going their own way. "Doom to you, Chorazin! Doom, Bethsaida! If Tyre and Sidon had seen half of the powerful miracles you have seen, they would have been on their knees in a minute. At Judgment Day, they'll get off easy compared to you. And Capernaum, with all your peacock strutting, you are going to end up in the abyss. If the people of Sodom had had your chances, the city would still be around. At Judgment Day, they'll get off easy compared to you." Abruptly, Jesus broke into prayer. "Thank you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth. You've concealed your ways from sophisticates and know-it-alls, but spell them out clearly to ordinary people. Yes, Father, that's the way you like to work." Jesus resumed talking to the people, but now tenderly. "The Father has given me all these things to do and say. This is a unique father-son operation, coming out of father and son intimacies and knowledge. No one knows the Son the way the Father does, nor the Father the way the Son does. But I'm not keeping it to myself. I'm ready to go over it line by line with anyone willing to listen. Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Psalm chapter 14, verse 1 through verse 7, a David psalm. Bilious and bloated, they gas, God is gone. Their words are poison gas, fouling the air. They poison rivers and skies. Thistles are their crash crop. God sticks his head out of the heavens. He looks around. He's looking for someone, not stupid. One man even. God expectant. Just one God-ready woman. He comes up empty, a string of zeros. Useless, unshepherded sheep, taking turns pretending to be shepherd. The 99 follow their fellow. Don't they know anything? All these pretenders. They are predators. Don't they know they can't get away with this? Treating people like fast food meal over which they're too busy to pray? Night is coming for them, and nightmares, for God takes the side of victims. Do you think that you can mess with the dreams of the poor? You can't, for God makes their dreams come true. Is there anyone around to save Israel? Yes, God is around. God turns life around. Turned around Jacob, skips rope. Turned around Israel, sings laughter. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 21 through verse 26. Dear friend, guard clear thinking and common sense with your life. Don't for a minute lose sight of them. They'll keep your soul alive and well. They'll keep you fit and attractive. You'll travel safely. You'll neither tire nor trip. You'll take afternoon naps without a worry. You'll enjoy a good night's sleep. No need to panic over alarms or surprises or predictions that doomsday just around the corner, because God will be right there with you. He'll keep you safe and sound. This was a daily reading of the Message version of the Bible, read to you by Bible in a Year.